Hi there, this is Adrienne Green, Realtor with Sampson Properties. And today I wanted to highlight the really important issue of getting to a signed contract as quickly as possible in a real estate transaction. That is usually the best way to preserve your interest. And this is for whether you are buying, selling, you're renting out a property, or you are the renter. Whatever your role is, keep in mind that the other side can change their mind until we have that signed legal agreement. All right, so when we're talking about buying or selling, we're talking about getting to what we call a ratified contract. Originally, a buyer makes an offer on a property, we call it an offer, and it is an offer of that contract. They fill out all the contract documents and they send it to the seller and say, this is a contract that I'm offering you for your house. And the seller looks at it and either accepts it, rejects it, or counters. Once that seller counters, that original offer is void, and that counter is now the only active potential contract that we have. Then it goes back to the buyer, who either accepts, counters, walks away, and it goes back and forth until both sides agree, both sides sign the same contract, and then we have what's called a ratified contract. And what I want to emphasize is that either side can walk away or say no thank you at any point up until we have that signed ratified contract. And so if you want somebody to sell or buy your house, generally it's a good idea to work toward that ratified contract in a timely fashion to lessen the amount of time the other party has to change their minds, second guess, get cold feet, things like that. And the same side with renting out a property. You know I got a lot of investors out there looking, so if you're looking to rent out a property or you're on the flip side and you are a renter, keep in mind the other side can change their minds until we have that signed lease agreement. All right, and that's what we want to get to in the sense of a rental, is a signed lease agreement. And sometimes people, especially if we're talking about renters or buyers, they don't know if they're going to win this deal. And so often they keep on looking. And I just had a situation that I am familiar with that happened like this. So that's what brought this to mind, and I wanted to share it with you. So if you're on the leasing or the selling side, again, that buyer or that renter can change their minds up until we have that signed, ratified agreement. And what I've had recently was a renter wasn't told, you've been accepted, you're getting this place, here's the lease. And so they continued to look for a backup option during that time. Well, then they found a backup option that they liked better than the first choice. And so then they no longer wanted to apply or continue with their application for their first property, and they moved on to the second property that they ended up renting. So it is really important, especially if you are an investor and you're renting, that we go through that vetting process quickly, that you do your background check and everything like that, and that you respond to this renter and get them that lease to sign in a timely fashion, because the whole time they can be worried that you're going to change your mind and they're trying to find a backup, and it can all blow up. So it's just easier if we handle the negotiations as quickly as is reasonably possible and get to that signed agreement before either party has decided to change their mind, walk away, get cold feet, find a better option, anything of that nature. So if you're doing this work yourself as an investor, or if you're working with a real estate agent, it's both the agent's job and the client's job to respond in a quick, efficient manner so that things can be handled quickly and we can get to that contract, which ultimately gets to everyone's goal of a real estate transaction, right? Sellers want to sell, buyers want to buy, because that's why we're all here in the first place. So let's work in a timely fashion to get to that signed legal document to make this transaction happen so that everyone can get what they want. So that's my little quick real estate tip for the day. If you have any other questions or you want to learn anything more about buying, selling, renting, anything like that, reach out. I'm always happy to help people. Adrienne Green, Realtor at Sampson Properties. Thank you so much. Like and subscribe the video.